What's going on, people? It's Mr. back again with Nottingham Forest fan interview, and I'm so excited. This man, I've been waiting for him since I've done all the interviews under the cosh, and I don't need to introduce to him, and it's ex-Nottingham Forest player Alan Rogers. How you doing?
Good, pal. Yourself?
Not bad. I'm missing the football. Are you missing the football?
Yeah, and the thing about it as well is I'm actually, when I first come back to football, I was over the moon with it. But you know, when you watch it now and there's no fans, and it's kind of like, it just doesn't, I'm a Liverpool fan. Obviously, I'm always watch Forest. But I am a Liverpool fan, and I'm watching it now, and I just don't really care what's going on with the results and that. It's kind of lost its mojo a little bit for me at the minute.
Me too. So let's get started, Alan. Forest were interested in you. When did you first thought when Forest were interested in you?
Well, funny enough, I was away with my girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife, in Mexico, and I'd come through the ranks at Tranmere, and there was a lot of interest at me there when I was 16 or 17. I got in the team early, and it's quite a funny story because I was in the hotel and we didn't have mobile phones back then. That's how old I am now. And the hotel phone goes, and it's the reception said, "Oh, we got a phone call for you, Mr. Rogers." Blah blah blah. So I went, okay. Picks the phone up, and it was Paul White, was it? Yeah, it was Paul White. I think it was Paul White, the Forest secretary.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he said, "Alan, it's Paul White from Forest. We're looking to sign you." And I thought it was one of my mates winding me up, and I went, "Yeah, fuck off, mate." And I put the phone down. Then the phone goes back, and he's like, "No, Alan, don't put the phone down. It's Paul White from Forest." And I went, "Oh, sorry, mate. I thought it was one of the lads on the wines." And he went, No. He said, "Look, we've had permission to come and speak to you, blah, blah, blah." I went, "Oh, okay, sorry." So anyway, it come from that. They asked me to fly home, and I said, "No, I've only just got here." So, yeah, it was fun to say the least, yeah.
As you know, that Forest has Stuart Piers as a legend left back. When you knew Forest were interested in you, was you under pressure to fill his boots?
Well, the first thought was, Stuart Piers was my hero when I was younger. I just loved the man. I loved everything about him, the way he played and everything. And I kind of put my game in him a little bit, if you like. So when it come that Forest were interested in, it was like, can't wait. And that was my first thought. It was never a thought of like I'm going to replace Stuart Piers. That kind of dawned on me a little bit later. When you sign and when you speak to the club and to the manager, and you find that you are going to replace him. It was like, oh, shit. Then the task you got ahead. But listen, I was never going to replace Stuart Piers. Nobody replaces him. I just tried to be the best. The best what I could be.
Mm. So you signed for Nottingham Forest. Did you know any players before you signed?
No, I never. No, because I was only a kid. I'd only played 50 odd games at Tranmere.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of interest from the likes of Liverpool and Blackburn, because Blackburn tried to muscle in on the deal and tried to not stop me signing for Forest, but they just sold Graham. They sold to Chelsea, so Blackburn were trying to get hold of me to come and sign for them, and I never even picked the phone up or had the discussion. I just said to the I never had an agent at the time. I just said to the PFA who represented me at the time, I want to sign for Forest. It was kind of like, it didn't matter who was coming in. It was, you get the chance to play for Forest, and Stuart Piers was there, and that was it, done deal, really.
Mm. So what was your first training session like? It
was a bit of an eye opener, because I just remember Stuart Piers, like we had like a bit of a game, and I just remember like you play, you train, and I seen him like he threw a tackle, and I can't remember who the tackle was, and I was like, this is training, and he kind of grabbed me and just said, "That's how we train." I was like, okay, no problem. But he told for me then, because I was like, I've come from Tranmere, who was a very good championship side at the time as well.
It was.
Always in and around the playoffs. We had some very good players there. But then I kind of realised that you've got to go on to that level now, because we had internationals in the squad and, legends of the game, like Stuart Piers, but you had Ian Woan, Steve Stone, Scott Gemmell, Colin Cooper. We had some serious, players there, and I thought, if I've got to get to that level, I've got to train as he's saying.
Listen, you just mentioned the players like Ian Woan and Steve Stone. What's it like training with them kind of players? Like, was you starstruck?
No, it's not starstruck because I've always been a confident person and but it was kind of like sometimes it tram you if you were having a bit of an off day. It was kind of like you're just having a bit of an off day. But at the training with Forest, with them players, you can't have off days because you get found out and you get swamped and you be out the team and so you train. My training personally went up to another level because it had to. I was still only a young lad, 18, 19, but you had to take your game to the next level very quickly.
You mentioned about like going on tour with Forest, and I know you've been asked this loads of times about the plane incident. What happened about the plane incident?
It's just one of I don't really know why I done it, but it's just one of them. I was a young lad, and I just remember we flew from somewhere in Finland to Helsinki. We got delayed, then we were delayed in Helsinki. Then we had to fly from Helsinki to Amsterdam, and it was like we'd been travelling for about 28 hours and we weren't getting anywhere. And I was just sat on the plane. I don't really know why I done it. I just heard the woman go bing bong, and I just thought I'll have a little bit of that. And I just pushed it and just went brakes, we're going down, the plane's going to crash. But you don't really realise the magnitude of it until, the whole plane was screaming. And I always remember sitting down next to this fella, the big hefty fella, and he was like, I wasn't very clever, wasn't I? I was like, fuck off, mate. And then they didn't order from the Daily Mail. But the pilot, the captain come on and just like went through and just said, a member of the Nottingham Forest party, come and see us. And Mickey Adams was the assistant manager. He had to go into the cockpit. And then he come over to town and just said, ignore that idiot. Got off like, we kind of got ushered in straight off. So I was kind of lucky not to be arrested there. But to this day, I don't really know why he done it. Just a stupid, don't know.
Oh, great. Like I said, you're that season with Forest. Can you remember what at the City Ground? Can you remember your debut? What team you played against?
No, do you know? I can't remember what we played against at home. I can't remember.
Norwich.
No. Yeah.
What was it like making your debut in front of the City Ground with all them fans?
Do you know what? I'm sure I didn't. They go 1-0 up.
Yeah.
I made a mistake. It was half my fault for the goal. I thought, oh no way. But because I remember Andy Johnson was fuming because he never started, did he?
No.
He was so. I remember, but yeah, we come back. I made a bit of a mistake for the goal. I thought, oh, this isn't how you want it. But we finished really strong, and I think we won about 3-1 or maybe
4-1. 4-1.
Yeah. When you had them two up front, you could make a couple of mistakes and get away with it.
Exactly. As you know, Alan, that season was, as a Forest fan myself, that was the best season I've ever witnessed. How did you feel about winning the league, and what was it like winning the league that year?
It was a strange one because without sounding cocky and arrogant, it was kind of, you just used to look around the changing room and you'd be like, well, how you're not going to win the league? How you're not going to get promoted? We had leaders all over the pitch.
Colin Cooper, Steve Chettle.
You don't like to go back and do it into your day, but I just feel if some of them players within the Forest changing room now, because the lads what they're there now, we've got some squad Forest now, but I just don't think they've got any of the leaders. And even like the lads who weren't the leaders, vocally and all of that, but like the likes of Scott Gemmell. He was a leader. The way he played the ball, it doesn't matter where he was on the pitch. You give him the ball, he'll have it. It doesn't matter if he's got 6 men round him. You had Steve Stone, he was just a battering ram in England. You had Bart Williams.
Ian Wone.
I was lucky enough to play in behind either one of them. I mean, I've done all of the running for them, but I didn't mind that. But, you look across the back line, you had Norm, you had Bess in goal, top draw people and big coops and checks. I mean, you just don't get them type of plays. Des Little, what a player he was for so many years.
Oh, great. What the story about is that, Alan, because like I said, I like to play like Des Little, yourself, and you two, used to bomb every single time. And I used to say, Alan, Des, when I said, get back! because you two were non-stop running, even if you had played like Steve Stone, Chris Williams, and Ian Wone on wingers, you still used to bomb.
Yeah, I know. We were kind of like the modern day fullback now, because that was part of our game. I mean, I could keep him down today, and so could Des, and we, helped and cause problems for the opposition by creating overloads. But it was just even to this day, I don't really think that team gets the recognition. But we weren't a team that won the European Cups. We understand that, but they were. You'll probably never see teams like that again. But I just think, I don't think Forest have got near the levels as a team as what we were since, if I'm being honest.
As you know, like you won the league, and then it all happens. Players leaving, players going on strike. But I don't want to start with Pierre. I want to start with players like Colin Cooper. Who else left? Like I even interviewed Kevin Campbell as well. How did you feel when players like them were starting to leave Forest?
It was disheartening, because I still feel to this day that if we'd have kept that squad together and added a little, because we were still quite a young squad. I mean, I was only 19, 20, Andy Johnson was young, Scott Gemmell was still in his prime, Steve Stone was probably only 26, 27, Bart Williams. If we'd have kept Cams and Pierre, Cams was a huge, huge loss. I think Cams was the main one, because he was he's a great lad in the changing room. And he spoke
about you, Alan. He spoke about you as well.
Did he?
Yes, he did. He said a bit naughty words about you. Not like disrespectful like him. Alan was. He said this words. He was more of a observer towards you and Jono.
Yeah. Well, Cams was one of them. He'd come in the changing room and he'd light it up, and the changing room would start kind of engaging. He was just. I loved Cams, not just as a player. He was as good as I've ever seen. I've got to be honest with you. What he'd done in that season, he was unplayable. He was untouchable, Cams. But it was just really changing room and everything. He was always laughing and joking with us, and you could have a laugh for him. And he was serious and he trained hard. But when he went, and I thought this isn't good. And then Colin Cooper went, was the captain, and Coops was not a ranting and a raver, but he just set standards all the time. Coops, you probably looked at John and used to think these are a pair of fucking idiots. These, and we were.
Yeah.
Set standards, Coops, and I just felt when you start losing him, then you're losing Steve Stone. Pierre done what he done. I can understand why Pierre done what he done. Should he have done it? No, he shouldn't have. But I understand it. We were all pissed off, but it's one of them where I just feel it was a massive opportunity missed to build a really exciting team.
Like you mentioned about Pierre, he went on strike. Every Forest fan was disappointed. Like I said, when you first heard about it, what was your thoughts on it?
It was just kind of one of them. We're all in the same boat. He was a top player, Pierre.
Can't deny that.
He was unbelievable in his goals, and the one what sticks in my head was Birmingham City away when we were 1-0 down, and he scored 2 late goals.
2-1.
Yeah, and you're like, I mean, that's tight. That's how you win titles with special players like him who can do that. But he shouldn't have done what he done. We were all pissed off. We all wanted to get invested in the squad and take it to the next level. And I've never spoke to him since. I should imagine he regrets it, but it shouldn't take away the player that he was.
So, like players like when we done Kevin Campbell's, Colin Cooper, they've left. Premiership started. Forest bring in, I think it was Doltsville, Dougie Friedman. I don't know, all the players that come in.
Thomas.
Yeah, Jeff Thomas was there, wasn't it? He was already there before, wasn't it?
Yeah, Jeff. I think Glenn Hodges come in.
Glenn Hodges, that's it. Glenn Hodges did come in.
It was difficult. You don't like to slag play. I'm not slagging playing off, but when you're losing the likes of Stone, Cooper, Pierre's not there, Kev Campbell, and you replace him with Glenn Hodges. Glenn Hodges was a great fella. He was a good player, but he was 36, 37. So he's not on the same level as them. Them lads who left still had growth in the career, and they'd already been there and done it. They were already top Premier League players anyway. And when you replace them with Dartford, he was an unknown, great lad by the way, Dartford, quick, but he should have been brought in as a
backup.
Yeah, and a bit of pace and power to come on when they're tired. But when he's getting thrown straight in the limelight, it was just we knew pre-season that it was going to be a real long season.
As you know, we'll talk about Dave Bassett more later on. Bassett got sacked. No, it was not Pierre. Pierre Van when come back. I think he came back in November, October time. What was your first thought when he was coming back?
The players they weren't happy with him, the atmosphere. There certainly was a kind of disgruntled atmosphere. I always remember Jeff Thomas really going at him. I thought, Jeff was a powerful man back then as well. I think it was Jeff who left unknown. Listen, I was only a 19-year-old kid. It wasn't up to me to go over and tell them, you know, it was the senior players we really, you know, give it to. But it was an uncomfortable atmosphere as well when you come back, training-wise, and, you know, there was a bit of needle in the training towards him from the senior pros, but it wasn't a great atmosphere for the first couple of months, let's just say.
I'm going to say Dave Bassett got sacked as manager. I think he played under Mickey Adams for one game. Like, what was he like as a manager when he took over?
Well, Mickey's a great fella. I speak to Mickey on a daily basis, even now. Still, you know, he's a top. Yeah, he's a great fella. It was at Ardington, nothing for Mickey. You know, we couldn't win, he couldn't lose. He was there under the Dave Bassett regime. It was a difficult situation for him. It really was. But you know, we went on to have an outstanding career. But I think when Big Ron come in, he didn't treat Mickey right. Put it this way, Mickey was a top coach at the time, really up and coming, start of the game coaching, and Ron kind of never used him in the right way. He should.
Roxon, like, he came in. You remember this game when Forest got battered 8-1, and you scored, as you know, Alan, and seeing the players like, I don't know, Beckham and Demlop, the rest of them, as you know. What was it like? Seeing the guys battered 8-1. What was it like?
It was just a bizarre one, because when Ron come in, he pushed me, because I was quick. He said he wanted to play me further forward, and it worked. To be fair, there's quite a few goals on the season after as well. But we were 3 or 4-1 down, and he starts taking defenders off and putting even more attacking players. And you're thinking, you know, just shut up shop. The last thing you want to do is get it hard near. And I always remember, I think he took Craig Armstrong off and was putting more attacking players. You're thinking, what are you doing here? And just telling me to carry on bombing forward. I'm like, what part of 5-6-7-1 do you want me to stop going forward? But it was one of them, you know, everything what Man U touched late on went in. It was just, I still tell my kids it was 1-1. If there's Dad's goal, like, that's it, the game finished 1-1.
Oh my God, I can't remember, that game was mad. That goes, I think I was in the Brian Clough lower, and I thought, yes, we could win this, but as you know, we didn't. That season, like I said, we got relegated, Alan, and you left Nottingham Forest to join our rivals, Leicester. What was your first football when you leave Forest that time?
Well, I never wanted to leave Forest. You know, I've made that quite clear. I'd had a serious knee injury, and I was really struggling at the time. The previous regime was rushing me back all the time, and I kept breaking down. And Paul Hart was brilliant. He just said to me, I'm going to take you off the line, like, completely, and get your knee sorted, because the muscles ran in my leg they weren't where they should have been for me to go back playing. And I think I played Walsall away. I don't know whether it was a cup game or a league game, and I scored 2. I should have had a hat-trick. And it was then I thought, you know, when you just feel, I felt that I was back to me, close to me best. But I get a phone call on the way on that night, and Harry Bassett, who was at Leicester at the time, he just said, look, I've been speaking to Forest, you need you off the wage bill urgently. We want to bring you in. I was like, not really. I said, you know, I've just come back from a bad knee injury. It's not something what I want to do neither. So I spoke to the powers that be of Forest and just said, look, spread me contract over a longer period and put it in half, but they just couldn't afford the wages, unfortunately. So it was kind of like, my back was up against the wall. I only had 18 months left on my deal, and it was like, you know, they're going to struggle to play me because of me appearance money and stuff like that. So I never really had much choice in the matter, and, you know, going to Leicester meant I could still stay and live where I was living.
Alan, everyone's mentioned this, sent me so much questions about this one. You come back as a Leicester player to the City Ground, and everyone keeps messaging, tell me about it, the Mars Bot incident at A Block. Tell me about it.
You know what, it was funny, because when we come in and the coach knew it was going to happen, because the lads, all of the Leicester had to say, you're going to get battered, because there was like, it was the boost bars, and there was like a truck or something outside giving free bars away. And I think it was Matt Elliott, someone, and just said to me, I guarantee you'll get fucking pelted today. And I used to take all the set plays at Leicester. Yeah. And I was thinking, don't get a fucking corner down that end by the A block. Please don't. And then it was early on, we got one, and I was like, and I just remember the lads were like, Muzzy, is it not? But you got it, but Muzzy, go and take it. He was like, fuck off. go and take it. So got there, I knew it. And I always remember there was one fella, right, I was walking down and I seen him, and I swear to God, I've not seen a man that angry in my life. He was proper going pink in the face, and he's
was it?
And luckily I just kind of knocked it. I thought it took my head off. But anyway, I picked one up and had a bite of it. And Mickey,
did you? And you come back to Nottingham Forest, and who was the manager? Who told you to come back?
Joe Kinnear.
Joe Kinnear. What was your reaction when they wanted you back?
Well, I'd had another bad knee injury at Leicester. I'd done like some serious damage in my knee, and I'd been out for a while, and I was just getting back into it. And I think it was Mickey Adams was kind of pally with Joe Kinnear through Harry Bassett, and really struggling in the relegation zone and that. And he wanted a couple of senior players, fullbacks. So me and Andy Impey, me and him got on great at Leicester, and we went over. We done what we had to do. We kept Forest in the league at the time, because they were really fighting against it. We stayed up that season. And I was delighted to end up, be able to come back and sign again permanently.
I think the game, like, Impey scored on his debut, didn't he?
Yeah.
Against Warsaw, and I remember that game very well. All the managers that you played under, Alan. And I'll start with Dave Bassett. What was your relationship with Dave Bassett?
He was brilliant, because I was only young when I signed for Forest, and it was big money at the time. It was a lot of money, but he was brilliant, Harry. And honestly, he doesn't get the credit what he deserves in football, full stop, let alone what he done at Forest. His attention to detail, it's second to none. You know everything about the opposition. It's easy now because managers have analysts and 20 members of staff who got all the computer. But Harry had everything himself, and his mind was an encyclopedia of football. He knew everything about every single player we were playing against, and he was top draw. But the best thing about him was his man management. I moved away from home. I was still living with my parents. I moved away from home, and he could sense when you were feeling a little bit down. The amount of times he pulled me out the England under the 21 squad and just went, go back to Liverpool, stay with your parents, see them 4 days, and then I'd come back with you. And he just knew what I needed. I idolised the man. He's a top fella.
I've mentioned Mickey Adams. You spoke about Ron Atkinson. Did you play under David Platt?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know Forest fans have a go at me about this. What was your relationship with David Platt?
Yeah, look, Platt. When he first come in, that was the season I scored a load of goals. I think I scored 11 goals that season.
You did.
Platt was probably 10 years ahead of football at the time. I think what people don't realise is before he come to Forest, he was going to Barcelona, AC Milan, all of the big clubs all around Europe and studying and learning their methods. And we come in to Forest and pre-season. I always remember pre-season. I was thinking, we never done really no running, and I'm kind of like thinking we're going to get mulled every game here. But everything was heart monitored. Breakfast, the food, the diets, and everything changed. And he just brought the modern day football into football when it wasn't. I don't think it was quite ready. He was one of. I know Forest fan. I've said this many times. He was one of the better managers I've played for.
Was it?
Yeah, I just think he was starting to get it right at Forest when he left to take the under-21 job. Things were just starting to turn. What he wanted from us, how he wanted us to live our lives.
Yeah.
How we trained, and everything was short, sharp, heart monitored. Everything was written down, computerized. He was 10 or 15 years ahead of his time at that time.
Next one, I know you might go for me this one. Guy Megson. Talk to me. I spoke to Marlon King recently. He had a dreadful. I couldn't believe what he said, and I thought, if I tell Alan, I thought, oh my days, he's going to say worse things about him. But then, you know what, Alan, I don't care. What was your relationship with Guy Megson?
He was a strange fella because he tried to sign me for West Brom, which I turned down, and I don't know whether it was something to do with that. Because if you tried to sign a player previously and he's already at the club, but then you should be saying, yeah, I like him, I tried to sign him. But I just remember the first day's training, he was shaking all hands and he just said to me, I'm going to finish your career here. That was his first words to me.
No.
First words to me on my children's life. He said, I'm going to finish your career here. And I was like, kind of, what a start that is. And I just went, yeah, well, let's see then. So it was kind of straight away, and I got onto my agent and just said, look, we've got an issue here. My agent kind of ballsed up speaking to him, cut a long story short. But even that aside, he was still the worst manager I have ever seen anywhere on a coaching field in my life. I mean, we weren't allowed to pass the ball on the floor. And we had some reasonable players who could play a bit of football. And if you didn't get the ball and smash it up to Gaz Taylor, and for flick-ons, and Gaz Taylor was not a bad footballer as well at the time.
Yeah.
If you didn't go long, but then that was it. You'd stop training, and his methods was shocking.
So you said that, I spoke to when I spoke to Marlon King the other day, and he said to me about you wasn't allowed phones, you wasn't allowed to speak to your family. Did you have that issue with him?
We had everything. Marlon was one of them who got sent to the at the time the academy was getting built, and there was me, Marlon, Dave Johnson, Paul Gerrard, Paul Evans, a couple of others. We weren't even allowed to get changed in the changing room. We had to get changed in the container.
No.
Containers at the academy. That's where we used to get changed. We weren't allowed to go and park our cars or nothing in the training ground.
Wow.
Bizarre.
Crazy. That's like when I see him making us manager, I thought he was bringing players in from left, right, centre. I thought this can't be happening, but I don't know. Like I said, it's a mental time we can't mention, Alan. You scored. I think you made 182 appearances, Alan, and you scored 72 goals. What was your best game for Forest?
There was that many. The season we won the league. I mean, I've seen a clip that you posted on your channel when I scored when Kev Cams tapped me in.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever been. I didn't know what to do. You can see that. I'm like, Cams out me. So I mean, that always sticks in my mind, that goal, because I thought I made this run. I thought there's no way Cams is going to slip me here. And then he just slipped me in, and he always used to. Cams always used to go, "Aye," like that. Aye. And then I thought, I didn't know what to do. I was like, "Cams, what do we do?" But yeah, sticking in my mind, that one. Yeah, and the other one I remember, we played Burnley at home, and I was having possibly the worst game of my career. I was just, when you're one of them games where nothing's going right. I was trying to do 5-yard passes to going out for throw-ins. I got the ball and I just got it and thought, fuck this, and I've absolutely leathered it and I've smashed one right in the top corner. And I remember that one because I was that bad. I thought nothing else can go wrong.
Yeah. Quick question. Like I said, the last game of the season, like against at City Ground against Reading, when Chris Williams scored the goal, what was your feeling when you won the league?
But do you know what? It sounds daft. That was one of the worst games ever, because
was it?
Because what was needed, and Reading was struggling. He was struggling near the foot of the table, and you just knew it was going to be from the off. It just didn't look like we could do anything right. When we had chances there, keeper was pulling saves off, and the longer the game went on, it was kind of one of them games where you're getting sickly. I felt sick. I thought we're never going to score. And then Bart pulled a little bit of magic out that turn. I always remember it, the little turn and finish. God, I've never loved a man so much.
Last thing I talk about, like your Forest times. Like, when's the last time you've been at the City Ground?
God, it was a good while ago. I was meant to go a couple of times. I went to, I think it was Birmingham. I went to watch Birmingham City. It was that long ago. I remember it. I watched Ben Osborne and I thought, God, this kid can play. He was the young kid on the time coming through. It must be 5, 6 years ago maybe. And I watched him and I thought, Jesus, he's a good player, this kid. But I need to get back there. I was meant to go a couple of times before this pandemic and all that, but I just, with commitments here, I couldn't get it. But I'm going to get back quite soon, hopefully.
I've got quite a lot of questions, Alan, if that's okay to ask.
Yeah.
The first one, the Miami trip. Everyone keeps asking about it. What happened?
I never went.
Did you go?
No, do you know what? I was absolutely devastated. Harry Bassett used to pull me out the England squads all the time. And when we were meant to be going on the Miami trip, I don't know whether he'd done it because he thought, no, he'll get jailed or sent down for life or something. he wouldn't let me miss the England trip. I had to go away with England to a tournament in the summer, so I never went.
Oh my god. Another question: who gave you the nickname Tank?
Dean Saunders.
Dean Saunders.
Yeah, we played
How
a
come?
pre-season. The first time I just signed and we went to pre-season playing in Finland. We're playing against this Finnish team, league team, and there was kind of like a little bit of a thing, and there was a couple of Finnish players and one of our players, and the ball's jinking about, and I've just smashed through the three of them and knocked the three of them over. And that was it. Dean Saunders went, fuck me, he's a tank, isn't he? And it stuck. That was it.
Wow. In your whole play career, not just Forest, Alan, who's the best player that you've ever played with?
I played with a lot of good players. The one who always comes to mind is Scotty Gemmill. He was just so good with, as a fullback, you need your midfielders all the time to feed in. If you can't get your wing, you need your fullback in. Every time you were in trouble, you just used to hear this little squeaky voice, yes, Tank, bang, there he is, I'm out of the shit again. And I just think players like that, he was top draw, Scott. He really was. Obviously, you played with the likes of Kevin Campbell and Piers, but they're obvious. Scott Gemmells was the one that made the team tick.
Who's the worst player you played with?
Sounds a bit hard, but I'm going to say, I don't know whether you remember the little midfielder, Paul Evans.
Paul Evans, yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
worst player?
Oh, he used to try balls off, but he couldn't pass wind. Yeah, he was a great lad. Used to try his bollocks off, but when you've been playing with the players who have played with a Forest previous, and he's coming in, and we're getting told that, I think it might have been Megson who signed him. I'm not too sure.
No, it was Joe Kinnear. Joe Kinnear brought him.
Yeah, when you've got Megson coming in and saying, well, everything's going to go through him, we were like, really? I'm used to playing with Scott Gemmill and Andy Johnson and Chris Hart-Williams. And listen, he was a good lad, nice lad, but not very good footballer.
I know that you get this question all the time, Alan. Your relationship with Andy Johnson, Kevin Campbell mentioned about it. You two were the troublemakers at the club. What was the worst thing that you and Jono done?
What, the worst thing what we done?
Yeah, the worst joke.
Jeez, the list is that long. The best one, the best one we done was Miami, when we went to Miami with David Platt pre-season, and nobody ever done anything to me and John. They were too scared to. And Jack Leicester had got into our room, got our room key with Andy Gray, and he turned the heating up. Not a bad thing, really. But anyway, we comes back from training now, and you want to go into your nice cold air-conditioned room, and it was warm, so we wasn't very happy about that.
Yeah.
So we found out it was them. So we're going out. We trained, played the game, and we were going for a bite to eat in Miami, downtown Miami somewhere. So me and John were sat in reception, and it was brilliant. Andy Gray and Jack Leicester went to the reception and said, "This is our room. Do not give this room key to anybody under any circumstances. Nobody can get this room key." And the girls like, yeah, okay, no problem at all. We won't do it. So I've gone to John, we're fucking never getting in that room now. He went, yeah. So he goes, watch this. About 15 minutes later, they've gone and attacked me. Went, yeah, we'll follow you down. About 15 minutes later, John was screaming in the reception, crying, saying, quick, there's been a big accident. I need my room key. And the girls go, what do you mean? So he said, quick, it's me missus back home. I've got to get upstairs and phone her. So the girls got, he went, what room is it? And he went, say 207. And she went, here's the key. And he went, I fucking told you we'd get it. We get to the lad's room key. Jono went over the top. It was scandalous. Andy Gray had bought his missus a lovely pair of about $300 sunglasses.
Yeah.
So gets in the room. I'm getting all of the clothes and everything. And Jono's got Andy Gray's toiletry bag, smashed it everywhere. So I went, there, don't do that. So he snapped the glasses in half, put them down the toilet. He shit all over the bathroom.
No!
We got the beds. We poured all water on the mattresses, and then threw coffee granules and sugar all over them, so they never had a bed. And then what we done is all of the clothes, both of their clothes, ripped them all, and we tied them all together, like the legs and the arms of shirts and jeans, and we lined them up from the hotel, their room, all the way to the lift. So when we got out the lift, come in, you seen all the clothes. Well, honestly, I mean, we were lucky there because the hotel called the police and everything. They were like, them up there, they've lost the plot. They've gone. They might have had a mental breakdown. That quite a lot, but that was the one. I mean, it was brilliant.
Do you still speak to Jono?
Yeah. That's not as much, like, because you're separate ways. He lives one end of the country, I live the other. But we spoke to each other.
Like I said, you speak to Jono. Is there any more jokes that you've done with any other player? Because like I said, when I spoke to Kevin said to me he's more of a observer. Was he an observer, or did he take any jokes as well?
No, Cam's just too big. we looked outside. Well, no, you can't go back. Cam's are the battered us. The league Cams I used to room at Spuggy a lot because he was young, and we used to have some great laughs with Spuggy. Fucking, he'd go to bed and I'd be pissing on his bed and his mattress and everything, and then just say the hotel's done it, not me. We used to do all kinds, but yeah, the one where we nearly caused an injury to Big Dave Bessent was we stayed in a hotel, and on the way in, me and John have seen the hotel must have got it. Back in them days, they had phone books, so all the phone books in the hotel to put in each room. Yeah. So we phoned Bess up. What we done is said, "Bess, do you want to go for a coffee?" She went, "Yeah." So we got all of the phone books and piled it outside his hotel door, right, stacked high. So we phoned and said, "Bess, we're going to go now. You're coming down." So we stood outside his room and he's opened it and all the phone books are gone. But I've done all of his hands. He nearly injured him. He nearly never played the next day.
No.
Done his thumb. Yeah, we used to do. I mean, away trips are unbelievable. Just used to cause carnage every single away trip.
Yeah. Let's go quick question. Like I said, you, Jono, was a prankster. Was there any players that you did do tricks on, but wasn't happy about it? That really peed off with you?
All of them. None of them was happy about it. Yeah, we had the thing with Jack Leicester at the time. When Jack was a great lad. I mean, that was a little bit later on. But we used to get Jack. I mean, me and Bess, Jono, we used to target Bess all the time, and he'd try and get us back, and it was kind of like, fucking idiots, really.
Did anyone ever get you back? You and Jono back?
Yeah, but it used to make us laugh because they try and get us back, but it was so bad. It looked like they wanted to try and get us, but they wouldn't do anything too bad just in case we went that bit. Me and John would always go that bit further.
Oh my God! I can't look. Maybe laughter. Forest, your favourite moment as a football player? Your favourite moment? Like you played for 21 England under 21s as well. Was that how was it feel? How was it to play for under 21s?
Yeah, I mean, it was one of them really. Dave Bassett always used to say to me that I should have done a lot more with my career because I wish that I wasn't. But back then at the time, I used to see the England call-ups as kind of a hindrance really, when I probably, it was the wrong attitude to have. All as I was bothered about was playing. I used to absolutely love training and going into work as a footballer, and train hard, and then you'd have a laugh and a joke. You go home. For me, it was a job playing with your mates and having a laugh and a joke, and then you'd have a game of footy at the end of it. So sometimes I regret not taking the under-21s in that series, and I made the England B squad, and I weren't really that bothered about it, if it was being honest with you. I just wanted it to end so I could get back home or get back to Nottingham, and so I kind of regret that part of my career a little bit.
Mm. Do you miss playing football?
Yeah, it's you do. You don't realise the impact it has on you because your day's occupied. You're in a role what's just, you're blessed. You don't realise how lucky you are, and then it's all of a sudden it just kind of ends, and it does leave a huge gap.
Mm. Alan, it's been a pleasure to interview you. Like I said, you're one of the players that, like I said, I'm a 90s baby, so seeing like yourself, there's Little, Chris Williams, players like Ian Worm, Kevin Campbell, Chris Williams. It was a pleasure to witness that you to win the league in was it 97, 98? Like it was a pleasure just to see. Like with all the younger lot didn't see it. Like you're like winning the league, and it is just a shame that Forest can't do the same. But like you mentioned, like last question, Alan, do you think Chris Hughton is the man to get Forest promoted?
I think he's I think he's a top manager. I must say, you look at his record. His record tells you that. His record tells you he's a top manager. He's a good manager. He's got promotions many times, and I'd like to think that Chris Hughton, with no restraints and no interference, he could get Forest promoted in the next 2 years. But can you guarantee there's no interference? I'm not too sure, and that's always going to be a problem.
Alan, it's been a pleasure to interview you. And Alan, you know what? I'm going to tell you what, Alan, because I'm sick. You got me in trouble one day because I know you're very active on Twitter, and I know there's one. I follow you on Twitter, and I pressed a video, and at the end you make them the sexual voices, and
I love. You know what? The people who fall for them, it's brilliant.
Yeah, Alan, you got me in trouble because I was in training on my break, and it was loud, and all I heard was, "Oh, what are you listening to? I'm not listening to nothing." So, Alan, you got me in trouble then. But looking at the left, and I said to who's that? Went Alan Rogers, and looking at the Forest fan. Oh, the tank. I went, yeah. I went, oh, is he doing that? Is he doing that? I went, yes, he is doing that. So looking up, it was funny. So yeah, I just want to tell you off, Alan, for that because you got me in trouble for that. But people, if you do want to follow Alan Rogers' Twitter, the link is below. So make sure you do follow him. Just be careful with his videos because you'll get yourself in trouble. But Alan, it's been a pleasure for coming on my channel.
Take care.
Okay, but like I said, everyone, make sure you do subscribe to the channel. This is Alan Rogers. If you've not seen all the goals, go on YouTube and check him out. But Alan, thank you very much for coming on.
Cheers. Speak to you soon. Take care.